Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all my KMK students. Alhamdulillah, today we are given a special time for to listen for talk and guidance by our special guest. And now you are in program Kecemerlangan Bersasar KMK, which is held by Fizik unit. Thank you for joining us. Even this is Saturday, our weekend. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully all of you are in good situation, good condition, wherever you are, even you are in your own hometown or in college. I hope all of you are happy and in good condition. Okay, student, I think it is not too late for me to congratulate you on your success in PSPM 1. All the lecturer, including myself, we are so proud of you. Too many challenges have happened to you over the last semester. Challenge of online class, challenge of pandemics everywhere, but you still got a good result for your PSPM 1. Okay, so however, we definitely need to maintain your success and also increase your success to be a better level. Okay, to achieve that objective, there must be a strategy from now. Okay, that's why this program is held to you. To guide you for helping you in answering the question for PSPM 2. You know that PSPM2 is your final task for this semester. So we have to do the best for this final test. Okay, student, before the talk begin, allow me to introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker is a Madam Shafazrina binti Muhammad Shakri. She is your physics lecturer in KMK. She has so many experience as examiner. Without any further ado, I would like to welcome Madam Shafazrina to deliver the talk. Okay, Madam Shafaz, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Thank you to our moderator, my lovely friend Puan Faizatul Azlinda binti Ahmad Fuad. Hi everyone, I'm Madam Shafazrina binti Muhammad Shakri, will be your speaker for today. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for your flying colors of results, and I'm really thankful to have this opportunity to be with all of you as my precious audience. I'm here not to give you a details of physics lecture content. I just want to share my experience and tips regarding physics subject. And here, hopefully, after this session, it will boost your momentum, give you energy to struggle and fight for A in physics, inshallah. And let's say previously you have got A's in physics. I really hope that you manage to maintain your A and improve the qualities of A. So let's us see what you are going to have in my session. To all my lovely students, here's a roughly content that I'm going to share with all of you. Hopefully you will have an ideas what this session will be and will give you motivations to keep focused because everything that I'm going to share with you are really important for you and will give you benefits for your final exam. So first part, I'll go for the methods and types of assessment. In here, I will refresh what you're going to have for your assessment in this semester. And then we go for the PSPM Creation Paper. For the PSPM Creation Paper, I will share with you the tips that you can apply. At first, you receive this PSPM Creation. Then we go for the JPU. You might think, what is JPU means, right? Don't worry, I will tell you what is JPU and why this JPU is really important for you to know before you sit for the final exam. And then we go for the problem solving strategies. I will share with you step by step the strategies that you can implement, you can apply, start from now as your preparation to answer structured question for this PSPM question. And then lastly but not least, I want to have sharing with you about how you estimate your final result. And I think this part is really interesting because from here you can plan your strategy, which subtopic that you're going to focus more in order to get flying colors of result and maintains your A for Fizik. Dear students, please lend me your ears and eyes. Start focus on what I'm going to share with you. I will start with method and types of assessment. I hope all of you realize that you will have two types of assessment for this semester. The first one is writing test and number two is continuous assessment. We will go one by one. For the writing test, you will have two methods of assessment. The first one we call it summative assessment test, or usually the terms we've used is UPS. For this semester, you will have three UPS, UPS 1, UPS 2, and UPS 3. The percentage allocated for this UPS is 20%. Then you will have examination. Examination here is referring to your final exam, your final PSPM questions. If the questions structured questions, so that structured questions will give you 40% overall of all the questions. And then we go for the second types of assessment, which is continuous assessment. There are three methods of assessment here. The first one, we call it practical test, will give you 50%. Second one is lab report, 50%. And the third one is assignment, 10%. So here, bear in your mind, these are really important because why? Because all the marks in continuous assessment part, you can collect it, you can get it start from now. And this mark will be given by your lecturers. Your tutorial lecturers will given to you. Your lab lecturers will give it to you, the marks. So remember, focus on what they are said, focus on the rubric given, focus on the tips given by your lecturers. Because what? Because if you follow the instruction, it will help you to collect more marks here. And 50 plus 50 and you plus 10, actually your carry marks for the continuous assessment is 40% already. So keep in touch with your lecturers, alright? Please listen to what they have said to you. Before I proceed with the next slide, the most important slide after this, I would like to share this lovely picture with all of you. This lovely picture, I got it when I'm preparing this material to all of you. For me, this picture is not just a memorable picture. This picture is really touched my feelings, really touched my feelings. And I want to share that feelings with all of you. So how to share it? I want all of you now close your eyes. Let us close our eyes together. I want you all to imagine that you are now in this picture. Give a satisfaction smile to yourself. Looking back and tell yourself that it was all worth it. The time that you spent do your revision, everything that you face is all worth it. Tell yourself that I have finally graduated. I'm now looking forward to a wonderful future. And I'm proud to be a graduate. Before you open your eyes now, take a deep breath together. Release it. Believe in yourself that one day you will be in this picture. Inshallah. Now open your eyes. Okay, dear, the wonderful future that you imagined just now, the best view of future will not come easy. You have to remember, the best view comes after the hardest climb. So the hardest climb that you need to face here is your PSPM question. You have to face it. You have to prepare yourself to make sure that by the end of this matriculations level, you will got the best view, and one day you will be in this picture. Inshallah. I hope you got that feelings too. And I will help you to show you what you are going to prepare yourself for this PSPM. You are looking what is PSPM 2 that you are going to face after this. Okay, dear, I hope all of you have a motivation to keep focused, listen to what I'm going to share with all of you, because just now we have imagined ourselves to have a best view of future in this picture that we have imagined, a beautiful smile after this, right? So we have belief we can make it. Now we go to the most important parts to make sure we got the best view that we imagined just now, right? So we go for the PSPM Creation Paper. So on your right side here, I give you the view of the front page of your PSPM question. When you receive this PSPM question paper, make sure you check the code subject first. Okay, so this is a code of the subject, SP025. Make sure it's a Fizik 2, so it's a correct question paper for you. Then listen to the instruction. In the instruction, it will tell you that this question paper consists of 10 subjective questions. Tell your minds that 10 subjective question means you have to answer 10 questions regarding to 10 chapters. One question refer to one chapter. Okay? You have to answer all the questions given. Since it's a 10 subjective questions, mean that you have a choice to answer which question first. So how to plan whether which questions you are going to answer first? What you need to do is you have to screening the whole questions before you choosing which question you feel most confident to answer first. Since it consists 10 subjective questions, make sure for every new question you use a new page for each questions. Alright? Okay, dear. This is a tips for you. You can make a checklist. When you screening the whole question paper, you got the overall picture, which questions you are interested to answer first. You can make a checklist on the front page. So let's say I have go through all the questions and I plan to answer the first question. I think is easiest for me, starting with question number 2. Then I arrange it 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 4, 9, 8, 10, and make sure it's 10 questions here. So after I answer the question, I cancel the number. I cancel the number, right? So this will avoid me to do silly mistake. To make sure myself answers all the questions. To prove that I've go through all the questions and I manage to answer all the questions given. So make sure I slash it all the numbers here. So that's my tips when I got that question paper. So I hope you can try this one. It will help you actually. So don't rushing to answer the question. Planning first. Which questions that you really confident to answer. That's the most important. Because what? Because that feeling will give you motivation to keep answering the question carefully and nicely. Alright? So hopefully it will help you. Alright, let's us open our PSPM questions. I just give you examples of the questions here. So we want just to see how the patterns of the question. Okay, the question might ask you like this pattern. Okay, so see, this question number 1 is referring to first chapter, which is electrostatic. It will have 1A and 1B. And for 1A, we have another 2 questions, split question here. So make sure you answers all the questions given. And then we try to see whether question number 2 is the same pattern or not. So for the question number 2, we don't have A and B. It's just a simple question. Just give you 3 marks because of what? Chapter 2 is regarding to capacitor chapter, which is a simplest chapter actually. If you refer to your JPU, later on I will show it to you why this capacitor just give you 3 marks, right? And then for question number 3, we go back to the 3A and 1 and 2. So although number 2 is just a very short questions, and for sure we imagine that our answer also a simple answer because the marks given here is just 3 marks rather than 15 marks or 10 marks, right? But you have to start it with the new page. After finish question number 1, then open the new page, do it for question number 2, and then question number 2, open the new page, start with question number 3, okay? Then here I focus on the last part, okay, to show whether you have the last question. The sentence here will tell you end of the question paper, okay? So question number 10, of course, regarding to the last chapter that you're going to learn. So it has A and B. So the pattern is like that. And hopefully this will give you a view of the structured questions that you're going to face in this semester, okay? Okay, dear. In your PSPM questions, you are given a list of constant values like this, right? Here's are just examples. One of the listed constant value that will given in your PSPM questions. Alright, make sure when you have this list of constant, when you want to answer the question, you take the exactly value given in the questions, okay? For example here, I have the equations to determine capacitance. So this is the formula that I have used, that I'm going to use to answer my question. And I need to substitute the constant here. What is the constant here? So the constant here is the epsilon naught. So I have to check the constant in the list of the constant given, not remember it with the other values that you try to substitute, okay? So check it. So here is the mu naught. The value will be 8.85 times 10 to the power of negative 12 for this epsilon naught. So make sure you substitute the whole numbers given here. Don't try to round off it, okay? That's the most important that you need to remember. Okay, now we go for the list of selected formula. Before this, you are given the list of constant value. So in your real PSPM question, beside you have the list of constant value, you also will have list of selected formula. So since there are so many formulas here, we have to be familiar with this formula. We must be able to identify the equations regarding to the specific chapter because we want to use it when we answer the question. So the tips is start from now. What I want all of you to do is you identify first. Let's say here we have number 1 to number 9. This is regarding chapter 1. Okay. And then number 10 to number 15, chapter 2. 16 to 21 is referring also to chapter 2. And you can do it until 10 chapters that you have. So these are what I'm going you all to do starts from now. When you have your module, divide and identify it based on the topics, according to the topics. And then you need to more specific. Just now you know this formula regarding to chapter 2. Be specific. Which subtopic this formula referring? So for the number 1, I give you this regarding to electrostatic force. And then let's say number 10 here is regarding to capacitance. So be familiar of this formula. So it will help you when you answer the question because you know this equation referring to which chapter. And when you know the chapter, the questions is arranged based on the chapter. So we get the ideas which formula that we are going to use, okay? Here you are. This is JPU. So I'm going to answer the questions that come in your mind about JPU. What is JPU? So JPU is Jadual Penentu Ujian. So why this JPU is so important? Actually, from this JPU, you can planning your revision. Which chapter you are going to focus more? For me, I will focus more on chapter that will allocate more marks. So we see here, marks allocated. And remember that chapter 4 magnetism, there will be no questions in your final exam because this chapter have been tested in your assignment part. So don't spend your time, do revisions after you have finished hand in your assignment, right? Focus on the chapter that will be asked in your final exam. So this here, marks allocated. So if you see here, the chapter, the most chapter that you need to spend your time, do revision, do a lot of exercises is referring to 10 marks, 12 marks, 10, 10, 10, 10, all this chapter. Okay, so remember, more marks means we have to more prepare to face that question, means you need to do a lot of exercises regarding to this chapter. Chapter 2, no need to spend a lot of time do revision, alright? But still need to do revision, but not as much as you spend to cover the most important chapter that give you more marks here. So be smart when you do revision. So this is why JPU is so important for you. So the total marks allocated for the 10 structure questions is 80 marks. 80 marks here. And the level of the questions is C3 and C4. Means not just memorize the meaning of the concept, that one you have been tested in your summative test. So choose a question level C3 and C4. You can refer to the previous PSPM questions and do the tutorial questions given. That's a patterns of question C3 and C4. So be prepare yourself to these types of question. Alright dear, I hope all of you still with me, still have a motivations to keep focused and listen to what I'm going to share with you. So here we have problem solving strategies for physics. I will share with you roughly the steps that you can implement to answer the structured questions. Later on, I will show you step by step how you apply the step when you answer the question. So step number 1 is read the questions carefully. This one is after you have screening the whole question paper, you have planned which questions that you choose to answer first. Then when you go to that questions, step 1, remember, whatever it is, we must read the questions carefully. Step number 2, when we read the questions, we have to sketch the picture of the problem regarding to the questions. And then step number 3, you have to list all the keywords, the clue that will be given in the questions by using symbol. Step number 4, please identify the law or the equations that you think you're going to use to answer this question. Step number 5, substitute the information in the correct equation. And then step number 6, make sure your final answer must state with the correct SI unit. So here's the step that you need to follow if you want to score your structure question. So I will show you the step after this, how I implement the steps in one of the example questions, okay? So dear, this is the examples of PSPM questions given. Now, when you got this question, keep motivate yourself. Tell yourself that I be able to answer this question perfectly and nicely. Because what? Because I have the steps and I have a strategy when I answer this question. So we have the first step. For the first step, you have to read the questions carefully. When you read the question carefully, you can use your highlighter, okay? So we have highlighted the information given here. So go through the questions. A 3 kilo ohm resistor and inductor are connected in series with a 12 volt AC supply. The inductor's reactance is 4.7 kilo ohm. The question asks you, calculate the impedance of the circuit and find the RMS current in the circuit. So that's the first step that you need to follow when you got the question. Okay, we go for the next step, which is step 2. You have to sketch the picture of the problem. Once you have read the questions carefully just now, try to visualize what is the problem of question is all about by sketch a picture. So I have sketched a picture here to represent roughly what is all about when I read the question. Next, I go to the step number 3. In step 3, you have to list all the keywords by using symbol. The picture that you have sketched, you must include the symbol to represent the information given in the question. So now, I have 3 kilo ohm resistor. So for the resistor, I must use a symbol capital R. And then here, 12 volt is actually the AC supply voltage source. And then I have inductor's reactance, so I need to represent using symbol XL equal to 4.7 kilo ohm. That's step number 3. Okay dear, now we'll proceed to the next step, which is step number 4. In step number 4, you have to identify the law or equation that you need to use in order to answer this question. I show you just one example for question number 1. So for question number 1, you have to calculate the impedance of the circuit. So the impedance terms here, you need to know what is the equation for you to use to calculate the impedance. So the equation you can get from the list of formula given. So I have identified this is the equation that I need to use. Alright, there is no marks given if I write this equation, but it's really helpful for me when I write this equation because it will give me marks when I do substitution later on. Right, we proceed with this step number 5. In step number 5, we have to substitute the informations in the correct equation. So just now we have choose the equation. Now is the time for us to substitute the informations that we have identified in earlier part. So when you refer to the figure that you sketch here, we just have two elements, R and XL. We don't have XC. So means that this will give us idea that XC it should be equal to 0. Okay, so I will start substitute the value inside the formula. When I substitute the correct value, the examiner can give me 1 mark. G stands for gantian, means that this student are correctly in substitute all the values given in the correct equation. Okay, now we go for the last step, step 6. You have to make sure that your final answer must be right with correct SI unit. Since the question is about impedance, our final unit must be in ohms. If you write the correct unit, the examiner will give you 1 mark. Alright, my lovely students, this is my last part of my sessions, which is I'm going to share with you how you estimate your final result. For me, it is important for you to estimate your final result because if you be able to estimate your final result, actually, it will motivate you to do better for the final exam. Remember, your carry marks is 60% and your final exam is just 40%. So the carry marks is really, really important here. So we see how you got your carry marks. So if your raw marks is 13 upon 15 for the assignment, 10% of it is 8.7. If you got 58 upon 60 for the UPS, 20% out of it is 19.33. So see, the percentage is higher for the UPS. So that's why the lecturers always said that you need to do well for your UPS because it gives you 20% here, dear. And then we go for the practical test. Let's say you manage to get 23 upon 25. So 15% here is 13.8. Report writing, you'll be able to get, let's say, 28 upon 30. So 15% out of it is 14. So it's the biggest numbers here. You got highest carry marks if I'm referring here. Okay, so final exam, these students must have an aim to get at least 55 over 18. Minimum that you must have. It cannot be lower than that. And if this student want to perform and make sure the qualities A is better, you have to aim more actually. Okay, right. So 55 upon 18 over 80 actually will give you 40%. The students will manage to get 27.5, referring to 55 upon 80. So if you calculate all the marks, the estimation results here is 83.5. Okay, I don't say that 83.5 is A, but you have to know that the carry marks here is important for you to make sure you got A in your final exam. And 83.5 is a borderline. You need to do better than that actually, because we do not know the range of marks for A in the real PSPM. So every one of you, try your best to have as much as you can for your carry marks. And remember, keep in touch with your lecturers because they will give you the marks and it will help you to get A's in your final exam. Okay, thank you so much, dear, because you're still with me until the end of this session. So the last but not least, the secrets of your success is determined by your hard work and strong focus on your goal. So all the best from all the KMK physics lecturers, and we really hope that you can do better for this semester. Aim for A's, maintain your A's, said you want A's for physics. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Madam Shafazina, for all the tips and guidance that you deliver just now. It's very helpful for students to understand better the way how to solve the problem, refer to the step that presented by Madam Shafa just now. It is so useful for you. So I hope all of students benefit from what is presented just now. Thank you, Madam Shafas. Last but not least, what you should do for your PSPM2, study hard and study smart from now and keep positive all the time. Inshallah, you will get success. With that, thanks for willing to participate in this program and thank you for joining us. So have a nice day and see you next time. Assalamualaikum.